So before this one, let us try to understand a few more basics here. See, in order to balance a horizontal force, we need one more horizontal force. You can see this one here. In order to balance a vertical force, we need a vertical force. In order to balance a moment, for example, in order to balance a anti-clockwise clockwise moment, we need this type of moment. So what it means here is, if you want to balance a vertical force is required in the upward direction. If you balance a horizontal force along the positive x, we need a horizontal force along the negative x. If you want to balance the moment, we need the moment in the opposite direction. Then only we say that sigma m equal to 0, sigma h equal to 0, and sigma v equal to 0. Now, as I told you that transverse loads, the loads which are acting on the beam, are producing bending moments. The beam has to counterbalance this bending moment. How it is doing? The question is how it is doing. So whenever a beam is subjected to transverse loading, the loads which are acting normal to the axis of the beam, we call them as transverse loads. We know that because of this, bending moment is produced. As I told you, moment has to be balanced by moment only. It means the beam must produce a moment in the opposite direction of the bending moment. So that is what we call it as moment of resistance. Moment of resistance is nothing but the opposing bending moment. It is the moment produced by the beam to oppose the external bending moment. Now you should understand, in the today's class you must understand how the beam is able to produce moment of resistance, or we can say it is a couple also. Couple and moment are same here. So the beam must develop a couple which will counterbalance the bending moment. How it is doing, I'll explain that one. Then we can go to the limit state of collapse. So the assumptions and all. So am I audible to all of you? Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now observe here, the main discussion point here is how the beam is resisting the bending moment. Right now your knowledge is the beam is developing what is called as moment of resistance, which is counterbalancing the external bending moment. Now you can see the mechanics of that. I will show you this diagram. Just observe here. The question is how the beam develops moment of resistance, or a couple, how the beam develops a couple which counterbalances the bending moment. Now I'll draw the cross section of the beam. Observe here. This is the cross section. This is the neutral axis line. This is the stress diagram. This is the maximum compressive bending stress produced. This is the maximum compressive tensile stress produced. Okay. Now, you try to understand action and reaction here. Action is the bending moment produced by the external forces. What is the reaction? Moment of resistance developed by the beam. So bending moment is action, moment of resistance is reaction. Now as you can see here, every layer, all these layers are compressed. All these layers are compressed till the neutral axis. Okay, all these layers are compressed but not to the same extent. Topmost layer is compressed to the maximum extent, and the layer which is very close to neutral axis is compressed to a very small extent. That is how it is represented by a triangle here. This triangle, what it indicates, the top layer is compressed maximum. Next layer, there is a slight reduction in the stress, further reduction like this. So what it shows here is each layer is compressed by different magnitude. This is about compression zone which is above the neutral axis in case of a simply supported beam. Now what happens to the bottom? Observe here. Now this is a tension zone is this one. Again you can say all these layers are under tension. Elongation of these layers is there. So these red color layers are elongated, black color layers are compressed. Now again you can look at the triangle here below the neutral axis. The layers which are close to the neutral axis are elongation is less here. As you move away from the neutral axis, you can see the layers are, there is more tension in the layers. There is more tension in the layers. So the maximum tension or the elongation that takes place in the outermost fiber, bottom outermost fiber, bottom outermost fiber is subjected to maximum tension, sigma T. As you go inside, sigma T will start reducing for each layer. Similarly, topmost layer is subjected to maximum compression. As you start moving downwards, each layer is subjected to a different value of compressive stress. Now, this one is already I have given you actually. This much already you know it. Now I'll draw this figure. How a bending moment is resisted because of this phenomena. Exactly 1/3 of this triangle, I'll draw one line like this. 1/3 of this triangle. Again, the bottom triangle, 1/3 of this bottom triangle because centroid is at 1/3 of the height. I'll call it as capital C. I'll call it as capital T. Okay. Let us say the distance between these two is small a. Now, what I have done is I have converted this stress diagram into a simple diagram, which is you can say a couple. Two equal and opposite forces acting on a body separated by a finite distance is called as a couple. Now observe here. Now what is this capital C now? Capital C means what and capital T means what? If you understand, I can go to the first part of the RCC, there is assumptions. Now observe here, bending moment has to be counterbalanced by the beam. Beam has developed this diagram because of the stresses produced in all the fibers. The fibers which are above the neutral axis are in compression the fibers which are below the neutral axis are in tension. Every layer is subjected to different amount of stresses. Stresses are not same in every layer. Now use this simple formula here. Sigma stress is equal to load divided by cross-sectional area. From this one, P is equal to what? P is equal to sigma into A. Sigma into A. It means if I know stress in each layer, if I know the stress in each layer, I can find out the equivalent force. See this. P is equal to sigma into A. If I know the stress in each layer and the area, I can find the force acting in that layer. Am I clear to all of you? Any questions? Anybody has any questions here? I have taken a simple strength of material formula here. Sigma is equal to P by A. From this one, P is equal to sigma into A. What it means here is, if I know the stress in a layer, that is sigma, and the area of the layer, I can find P is equal to sigma into A. So what I'm trying to tell you is, I can find out force in each layer. If I can find out this force P in each layer, question is, which layer has maximum P? Which layer will be having maximum P? Anybody can answer this?
So the outermost layer.
Okay. So the outermost layers, outermost, bottom as well as top, these two outermost layers are having maximum value of P. We can call it as PC, whatever. So what I will do is, in the compression zone above the neutral axis, each layer I will calculate the force. Imagine it is possible to find out sigma as well as A. Imagine like that. So in each layer, I will calculate the force acting, P value for each layer, P value for each layer, and I will add all those P values. The total is capital C. Total is capital C. Let me repeat this one. Observe here. I am going to calculate P values of each of these layers. Let us say P1, P2, P3, P4. I will add them. When I get the total of P1, P2, P3, the total value is capital C. Similarly, below the neutral axis, I will calculate the tension force. Tension force is, again, P is equal to sigma into A. I am going to find out tension forces in each of these layers. Then I will add these forces. All these, in every layer has some force. All these forces in each layer is added together. Total is capital T. So total tensile force produced in the tension zone is capital T. Total compressive force produced in the compression zone is capital C. So this is how a couple is formed by the beam. It is a very important basic information, basic knowledge. So compression zone will produce one single force, equivalent force C. This capital C is equal to sum of the forces in each layer, sum of the compressive forces in each layer. You add them, you will get capital C. Sum of tensile forces in each layer below the neutral axis. You add those forces. I will call it as capital T. So this capital T and capital C are having same magnitude. C and T are equal because you look at this diagram, look at the neutral axis position. Both the triangles are of same size. That is why we can say that C is equal to T. Now, how do you define a couple here? Two equal and opposite forces acting on a body separated by a finite distance. This is what is couple. So this couple, whatever it is formed here, this couple is nothing but moment of resistance. This couple is moment of resistance. This couple is going to counterbalance the external bending moment. This couple will counterbalance. A couple formed by the beam by developing internal stresses. These are all internal stresses. Each layer is subjected to stress here. Below the neutral axis also, above the neutral axis also. Those layers are developing tensile and compressive stresses. We call them as bending tensile stress, bending compressive stress. So the beam is producing the stresses. The stresses can be summed up like this, capital C and capital T. So ultimately a couple is formed by the beam. This couple will counterbalance the bending moment. This is how a moment has to be balanced by a moment only. So moment of resistance is one type of moment only. So this moment is reaction. This moment is reaction to the external moment. Action is bending moment. Reaction is moment of resistance. This is what you need to understand, how the bending moment is counterbalanced by the beam. Any questions here? Anybody has any question here? What I'm telling you? Finally, the bending moment is taken care of by moment of resistance. So it is very important for us to calculate the moment of resistance. That is nothing but moment carrying capacity of the beam. How to increase moment of resistance? Because it is a property related to material. A wooden beam of same dimensions as that of RCC beam will have less moment of resistance. A steel beam which has same dimensions as that of concrete beam will have more moment of resistance because it is a material property. It goes with the strength of the material. So anybody has any questions here? This is the end of moment of resistance. I am not going to repeat it now. I am not going to repeat moment of resistance, definition, how it is calculated, how the beam develops the moment of resistance. All these things are over. Anybody has any doubt, you ask the questions. Because I have to move on with the syllabus now. I have taken 6 hours just to tell you what is moment of resistance, which was there in strength of material actually. You should be knowing that. Any questions are there for moment of resistance? Moment of resistance is nothing but a couple formed by the beam. You can see the diagram 3. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 is the cross section, 2 is the stress profile or the stress diagram. 3 is how this stress profile is converted into couples C and T. The stress profile is converted into couple, that is C and T. C and T are equal, that is why we call it as a couple. And this couple is counterbalancing the external bending moment. So the discussion related to moment of resistance is over. Anybody has any doubts, you can ask. We are running out of time actually. Again, will come back. So the attendance, I'll save it now. Whatever see, I'll save the chat session. I'm going to save the chat session now there. Or I told you everybody to type your USN and name. That will be saved. And it will be displayed. It will be displayed in the WhatsApp group. Those who were absent, they should contact the principal or HOD. You must contact either HOD or principal, sir. So if you have not typed your name and USN, you type it. It will be cross-checked. It will be cross-checked also. Anybody has any questions here? Any questions related to? So this you can see this here, meeting saved. So here those who are present, their names I can get it now. So this is how a beam develops moment of resistance. So you come back immediately. You come back immediately. Important topic that is you can see this one. Assumptions in the limit state of collapse. All these assumptions are there in the code book. Try to understand. You don't have to remember anything. No question of remembering, memorizing anything here. Everything is available in the code book. You should understand what is that. What is the meaning of these assumptions? How to understand? Because see, this book is allowed in the exam. So no need to remember anything here. So 6 minutes are left. If anybody is entered now, because you see, if the class is from 9 to 10, at 9:20 I'll save the chat session at 9:20. 20 minutes will be given. If somebody comes at 9:55 and says I was there in the class, that is not taken as present. Exactly at 9:20 I'm going to save the chat session. So any questions are there here? Because I'm going to start this one. Once the time is over here, 6 minutes are there. Anyway, observe here. I'll start now only. Once it is disconnected, again you have to re-log in. These notes will be shared. I'll be sending this. I'll mail the PDF of these notes. So don't worry about the notes. Just observe what I'm telling here. See, limit state of collapse. Observe here. Can you see this, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Can you read what is there in this? Is it possible? Is it?
Yes, sir. The design of reinforced concrete.
Okay. See, observe here. I'm going to share these notes, so you don't worry about that. Now, see, assumptions in a limit state of collapse in flexure. It means the basic idea is to find out the moment of resistance of a heterogeneous member. Whatever I discussed just now, it was related to homogeneous members. The beam was made up of same material. But what happens in case of RCC is, first of all, it is not a homogeneous member. Second, there are two different materials involved. And each material has got its own modulus of elasticity. The properties are different. One is brittle, concrete is brittle, steel is ductile. I think you know this basics. Steel is ductile, concrete is brittle. Okay. So because of these things, I cannot directly use the laws of strength of material. Directly, I cannot say it is directly find M is equal to sigma Z. Moment of resistance is equal to sigma Z. It will not be as simple as that, because it is a heterogeneous material. Hooke's law is not valid for a heterogeneous material. most of the strength of material laws are not valid for a heterogeneous material, because assumption number one is material is homogeneous and isotropic. It obeys Hooke's law. All these are invalid. It means it is not easy to find the moment of resistance of a RCC beam. That is why we have to make a lot of assumptions. Okay, the purpose of assumptions is to reduce the mathematical complexity. Why I should assume? What is the purpose of assumptions? In order to reduce mathematical complexities, I have to assume something. Those things will not be there practically. Initially, I have to assume so many things and develop some equations. Then I should start introducing the complexities so that I can modify the developed equation. Are you following what I'm telling? Assume all ideal conditions and develop an equation. After that, start introducing the complexities, thereby modify the developed equation. This is the reason, or this is why we should assume something in the beginning. Because at your level, your mathematics domain, whatever mathematics knowledge you have, within that only the derivations are to be, the equations are to be derived. That is why. So these are the assumptions here. Plane section. See this one. Are you able to read all of you this one? Now what you should do is, if you are having a code book here, assumptions in limit state, refer clause number 38 IS 456. So if you refer this clause 38 IS 456, same assumptions you can read there also, and that book is allowed in the examination. So you can easily write it. Open the page number and write it. If anybody asks you the question, what are the assumptions in the limit state design for flexure? Flexure means bending. You can see this. When I say flexure, it is bending here. Is it clear, this one? Flexure and bending are one and the same. Okay. See this. I'm not able to draw this line. 1 minute is left here. Attendance I have taken. I have saved this chart session. So come back immediately. Or which is your next class? At what time?
At 10, sir.
At 10.
9:45, sir.
At 9.
At 10, construction management.
So if it is there, means I will not continue now. I'll stop it here only. But I'll start it. I'll engage some extra classes in the next week, extra hours. I was a little bit slow here, so I'll go fast. In the next week, I'll engage some extra classes in the afternoon.